Some key characteristics about how the brain learns to read are that there are three neural systems that must work together. These neural systems are visual processing, decoding in the angular gyrus, and active language. Visual processing is how the brain is reading the words, scanning the page, and a person's eye movements over the words. Decoding takes place on the left side of the brain through the angular gyrus. Its job is to break down graphemes into phonemes. Graphemes are the written letters and phonemes are the sounds that they make. The last system is active language, where phonemes are blended together and then understood as whole words. These systems work together in a complex way. Phonemes are processed at the same time the brain is working on the three systems at the same time. The reading program that's going to be discussed is the Scholastic Guided Reading Program created by Dr. Irene Fountas and Dr. Gay Sue Pinnell. In the classroom, the guided reading program uses three neural systems. Visual is used when readers use phonics to solve a word, and that is a strategy built into Scholastic Reading Program, where students learn the sound-letter correspondences and visual features of the word. Guided reading lessons are made to expand students' ability to apply phonemic awareness and phonics. Students learn words that sound alike and then are done in a short, concise amount of time. The way the program works is before students read, they take a placement assessment that assesses their phonics, listening comprehension, interests, accuracy, reading comprehension, fluency, and retail. In small group lessons, before even reading, students will create connections about the stories, and they will talk about the story and their predictions. During reading, students problem solve to decode words and read aloud in a whisper voice. After reading, students are assessed for understanding, and there's a conversation had about their reading. The program is designed for small group instruction. This allows for more retention in the brain, as gone over in Chapter 4 of Sousa's book. This program calls for no more round-robin reading, and students read every word in their books, not just bits and pieces. This means that students are more attentive during the reading process. The groups, while small, are also flexible. The program was designed with the idea that children learn at different rates and have different needs. It is built for engagement and motivation for reading. Emotion is a factor when students are learning, so engaging students in books that interest them from the Scholastic Book Room, we can create motivation. In this program, students are motivated to share their personal connections into discussions to create authentic and meaningful discussions which play into retention. In my experience, I have given the diagnostic assessment to all the students in my classroom and formed the small guided reading groups based on the CAFE strategy implemented by the two sisters. I have taught from the sample lessons provided from the Scholastic Reading Program. The Scholastic Reading Program sample lessons suggest that on day 1 you introduce the text, create meaning and schema, and go over words. Students will read their book in a whisper voice and decode words they do not know by chunking them into phonemes, making that connection to activate language and decoding. As a small group, we go over words that are part of the story that may be unfamiliar or difficult, which then relate to the CAFE system. On day 2, the Scholastic Reading Program suggests that we do discussion questions, read the stories again to develop fluency, and have discussions about our readings. On the 3rd day, students will then write about their reading and make connections. The Scholastic Guided Reading Program focuses more on students understanding the reading instead of getting them to be accurate readers. Part of our school initiative is to implement the CAFE system, where students focus on comprehension, accuracy, fluency, or extended vocabulary, or known as CAFE, which is students are grouped based on their needs as identified through the assessments provided with the Scholastic Reading Program. Knowing that the brain required the three neural systems that must work together, visual processing, decoding in the angular gyrus, and using active language. When it comes to visual processing, I would say that Scholastic does a good job of this by implementing word work in the daily lesson plans, as well as having the students break down words when they struggle. They are using their visual processing and the angular gyrus. Through discussion and reading in whisper voices, the students are also using active language. I believe that this is a well thought out and research-based program that Fountas and Pinnell have created for classroom teachers